The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton, who is in this morning for Alex, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Maddie. It's been a week, but we are certainly happy to be reaching the end of it, as I'm sure everybody else out there is.
Absolutely, and we begin this morning with a potential repeat of last year.
As we approach the holidays, the state models predict another deadly surge of COVID-19 is on the horizon, and it may be worse than last winter. Here's a look at the new model, and you can see once this comes up, the fourth predicted surge is expected to be the worst. There's that peak right there. This model gives us three scenarios, including the worst case. Kern has followed the worst case scenario since the beginning of the pandemic. In all scenarios, it shows a steady decline in cases until Christmas, but there are different paths following the week between Christmas and New Year's. The models suggest if more people get vaccinated and get booster shots, the virus will be choked out of Kern. Keep in mind, these are models and they change as more people get vaccinated. Just last week, it predicted the fourth surge to be twice as bad as it looks here. We'll keep you updated on what the models say as we get closer to the holidays.
Meantime, a troubling rise in new COVID infections has hit a growing number of states after months of decline. Now, some states are announcing their own rules when it comes to vaccine boosters. NBC's Miguel Almaguer reports.
What's unfolding in hospitals from California to Colorado is now our clearest sign of a winter surge. With COVID cases climbing in 17 states, our national plateau is giving way to a steady rise in infections.
We need every single bed that is in our state.
Already at a breaking point, Colorado is now implementing crisis standards of care, prioritizing staff in their overwhelmed hospitals.
You may have a different level of care had you not come in today versus maybe 6 months ago.
Declaring the entire state high risk for exposure, today Colorado's governor signing an executive order allowing all adults, regardless of age, to immediately qualify for boosters.
All right, big six.
Nationwide, only a third of eligible seniors have gotten the added dose of protection. In California, doctors fear the low demand for boosters correlates directly with the rising climb in cases. Flooded ERs in cities like Fresno, perhaps the canary in the coal mine.
This is just a taste of what the winter surge is going to be like.
While the unvaccinated are filling hospital beds and account for the nearly 1,300 dying every day, Massachusetts says breakthrough cases are up 44%, with 60,000 fully vaccinated testing positive for COVID.
Why are we seeing so many breakthrough infections?
The coronavirus comes back in waves, and we do see that protection does wane over time, but having vaccination, having that protection is the best way to protect yourself.
With some older Americans facing waning immunity, there's also growing concern over the young. A federal court in Texas just ruled the governor's ban on mask mandates in schools violates the rights of students with disabilities who may be more vulnerable to illness.
All I want is my child to be able to get a proper education without having to wear a mask.
But across the country, just over half of all states have no rule on masks in schools. Just as some regions relax restrictions, others are seeing a dangerous trend in new cases.
Miguel Almaguer reporting. Multiple organizations, including the Latino COVID-19 Task Force, Kern Medical, and United Farm Workers, are teaming up for a new COVID vaccine clinic in Arvin. It's happening Tuesday, 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Arvin High School. They're offering Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. Attendees are asked to wear a mask and practice social distancing while waiting to get their shots. To schedule an appointment or for more information, just call 525-5900.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
And now to your 17 News Homicide Tracker, with authorities confirming the married couple found dead in their own home is believed to be a case of murder-suicide. It happened Monday night around 9:15 on Lotus Lane in South Bakersfield. The dead couple has been identified as 59-year-old Manuel Martin Portillo Mesa and 56-year-old Deyanira Sanchez Baltazar. Police did not specify which person is believed to have pulled the trigger, but they say the investigation is ongoing.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and Kern County District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer says she will run for office again. We spoke with Zimmer about the upcoming election and what she hopes to accomplish if she is reelected.
I'd like to do more with human trafficking. We're working very hard on bringing a human trafficking task force group here to Kern County because we have a lot of human trafficking here. We're on the track that goes from Fresno, Bakersfield, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Vegas. I'd like to do more with that, and we are making a lot of progress with human trafficking cases.
Zimmer also says she wants to focus on gang violence and bringing a family justice center in Lamont to help fight against domestic violence in that community.
Your time now is 5:04. Meantime, the Kern County Board of Supervisors will consider 2 final maps with the redrawn supervisorial district boundaries next week during the next meeting. The public's invited to come in and weigh in on the process and the final 2 maps that have been chosen. An in-person public meeting will be held Tuesday at 3 p.m. in board chambers on Truxtun Avenue in downtown Bakersfield. If you cannot make the meeting, you can provide input on Kern County's redistricting feedback form on the website.
And our Veterans Day parade made a triumphant return to the streets of Bakersfield yesterday for the first time since 2019. Thousands of Kern residents flocked to downtown Bakersfield to celebrate the brave men and women who dedicated themselves to defending our nation. The American Legion organized the march after spending a year sidelined by the pandemic. Local leaders like State Senator Shannon Grove, Mayor Karen Go, and Congressman Kevin McCarthy cheered on the crowd, while our own Jim Scott emceed. At 101 years old, World War II veteran and Pearl Harbor survivor Bob Berman served as the Grand Marshal of the parade.
Your time now is 5:05, and if you're just waking up and need a boost of caffeine, coffee lovers have a new option starting today as Dutch Bros opens its newest location. It's located at Panama Lane, just west of Highway 99. Drinks are available at the new location, including specialty coffee, smoothies, freezes, teas, private labeled Dutch Bros Blue Rebel energy drinks, and nitrogen-infused cold brew coffee. The company now has 4 locations in Bakersfield. In Washington this morning, President Biden meets with his cabinet today to discuss implementation of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. He's set to sign that into law on Monday. Now, with consumer prices rising, the White House is under increasing pressure to deliver relief for American consumers. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest.
Americans dealing with inflation-induced sticker shock.
It seems like everything crept up. It wasn't like a sudden hit. It's just been slowly rising.
The effects most noticeable at the pump and grocery store. President Biden meeting with his cabinet today to start implementing elements of the infrastructure bill to most quickly deliver help to the American people.
This infrastructure bill makes investments in our supply chain to help unclog the bottleneck of goods that have led to some of the inflation.
The president and his backers now more emphatic than ever that passing the next goal in his agenda, a $1.75 trillion spending bill with money to fight climate change and fund new social programs, is the quickest way to put more money in people's pockets.
We passed the Build Back Better Act. We cut child care costs in half by assuring that no family is going to pay more than 7%. We ensure that pre-K is provided for 3- and 4-year-olds. We cut the cost of pharmaceutical drugs so that people can actually pay less for their health care.
But even if that passes the House, it faces significant opposition in the Senate. West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin has been objecting to the cost for months and argues the Build Back Better bill will make inflation worse.
It's not precisely as I would design it, but I think the spending is a valuable investment in the country's future.
The debate continues as Americans await some relief.
When it returns to work Monday, Congress has a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. Besides trying to pass that larger social spending bill, lawmakers also face early December deadlines to extend the debt ceiling and pass a bill keeping the government open. In Washington, Chris Pallone,
NBC News.
The defense team has rested in the case against Kyle Rittenhouse, the now 18-year-old on trial for killing 2 people and wounding a third during last summer's protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin. No ruling yet on the defense team's request for a mistrial after the judge Wednesday admonished the prosecutor for out-of-bounds questioning. The prosecutor butted heads with the judge again yesterday, this time over exactly what video an expert should discuss.
Go ahead, say what you want to say. I have to say, Your Honor, yesterday I was the target of your ire for disregarding your orders. Today, the defense is disregarding your order.
The case has divided Americans over whether Rittenhouse is a vigilante looking for trouble or a patriot protecting the city from rioters. Jacob Blake's uncle Justin says he did not think Rittenhouse's testimony was genuine.
What we saw yesterday was ridiculous. He should have been at home playing Xbox or playing a game at home. Instead, he was out in the streets carrying a military-style gun that subsequently murdered 2 people with.
Court is expected to resume on Monday to allow for attorneys on both sides to discuss legal issues with the judge today.
Here at home, a Shafter family has filed a claim against the Kern County Sheriff's Office after an escaped Laredo prison inmate broke into their home. The Sheriff's Office says 24-year-old Tyrone Johnson, charged with murder in the shooting death of 3-year-old Major Sutton, broke into the home and grabbed food out of the fridge, removed clothes from the laundry room, and loaded a backpack with a Chromebook and alcohol before trying to steal a car. After discovering the break-in, the homeowner got into a scuffle with Johnson and recovered the backpack before Johnson fled. The family's attorney says a boy living in the home has since been experiencing PTSD and difficulty sleeping and going to school, as he lives in fear the inmate will come back into the home and attack him. The county has 45 days to respond to the claim, which seeks an amount greater than $25,000.
This morning, we're shining a light on a topic we talk about often here on Sunrise, the continued struggles of local animal shelters. But we're going to start here with the good news today. Kern County Animal Services announced it has been selected to be a partner organization of the Human Animal Support Services Project. KCAS says the coalition is designed to transform Kern County's shelter system with innovative solutions and community-based programs. The shelter says they'll soon be able to provide remote services like veterinary telehealth and tech support, lost animal return to owner initiatives, foster care programs, and more.
And the shelter, meantime, is collecting Christmas stocking donations ahead of the holiday season. The stockings will be filled with treats and toys for the pets who will be spending Christmas at the shelter. They're accepting new and used stockings. You can donate them directly to the shelter on Fruitvale Avenue in Northwest Bakersfield. They're also offering an adoption special through the holidays. You can adopt a dog today for $20 and a cat for just $5.
How could you not say no to those faces? Unfortunately, it's not all good news. The City of Bakersfield Animal Care Center is doing its best to accommodate hundreds of animals, but there are simply too many dogs and cats, and if something doesn't change, consequences could be dire. Before you even step inside, it's the barking that lets you know there's something amiss at the Bakersfield Animal Care Center.
The situation here at the shelter is critical right now. We are so overfull. We are having dogs and cats come in constantly, and little inventory is going out.
A facility meant for short-term emergency housing, now a home to around 200 dogs.
Right now, we have nearly 100 adoptable dogs, plus we have probably an additional 100 dogs. That includes strays that are on stray hold, dogs that are in isolation right now, maybe sickness, or any kind of animal that came in that's just not ready to be adopted out. And that is just overwhelming.
And it's not just dogs. The care center's cat housing is quickly filling too.
We are definitely seeing a problem with cats as well. Not enough fosters are turning out, and we have lots of kittens.
Gitsky says a lack of spaying and neutering has contributed to a rise in ownerless animals. And even some animals that had owners end up in long stays at the shelter.
We have a lot of strays coming up. We can see that they're microchipped. We call the owner and they say, we don't want them anymore. take them, it's fine.
Outside of adoption, the best way to help the shelter is to sign up to foster. It's low commitment, and the care center will supply all the essentials.
We're pleading for you, please, to come out, check out some of our adoptable dogs, cats, and give them a loving home. Please, there are so many opportunities for you to just take a dog home for a couple weeks, give them a good place, and you'll fall in love with them like we have fallen in love with every single one of these animals here.
If you're interested in adoption or fostering, call the care center at 832-7387. It's so sad.
Rip your heart out.
I got to meet a pair of dogs yesterday, Gidget and Riley, and oh my goodness, they're just the sweetest dogs ever. And I totally see what Nicole is saying, where you just fall in love with these dogs. And I'm gonna ask now, please, if you can, please consider adopting or even fostering if you want a low commitment option.
Mm-hmm. We went out there for Clear the Shelters, and I took my kids, and my oldest, Eli, it's well known because I've talked about it, just like got down on the ground and put his hand through and was like, he just had this connection with this dog, this sweet dog, who is still there after 76 days.
Yeah.
And he's such a sweet dog. We were sure he would be adopted right away, but not yet. There's so many of them who need homes or even just fosters if you can help. Please do.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.